Strike today. They've been picketing since the early hours.
Strike will continue, at least for now, into a second day. We're live at McHenry.
Is live from McHenry West High School with the very latest.
But they still could not come to terms to avoid a strike.
During the school year in October 2015, the McHenry High School teachers went on strike. The MCHS teachers protested their contract or lack of one by refusing to work and picketing in front of both West and East campuses. They had been negotiating over compensation and insurance benefits since March and had been working without a contract since June. Some students came out to the school to show support for their teachers by picketing with them since the strike lasted 7 school days. We asked Ryan Ellison, who was the union president at the time, why the teachers went on strike.
Strike negotiations had dragged on for more than, I want to say 16 months, I think. I don't know the exact, but it was over a year. And working without a contract was unacceptable to our membership. And I just don't think that it wasn't fair to the teachers to work without a contract.
Mr. Hine, a member of the Board of Education during the teacher strike, explained to us some of the regulations and steps the teachers had to go through in order to go on strike.
Actually, there are very, very strict rules and regulations around whenever a public body like the school decides, the employees decide to strike. So there are very strict rules. They have to give so many days notice about their intent to strike. It doesn't mean that they will, it's just they have to file an intent to strike. Then the entire membership has to vote on whether or not they choose to strike. And so it's a very, very regimented process. So absolutely, did they inform us? And actually, if you want to look it up, the IASB, which is the Illinois Association of School Board, I believe you can actually find exactly the whole process there, outlined there. So.
After a failed negotiation meeting, teachers started striking on Thursday, October 1st. They are out picketing at 6:45 in the morning until the end of the school day at 2:45. All of the faculty that was included in the teacher's contract took part in the strike. This included Lexi Disselhorst, who is a social worker at McHenry West Campus. She told us what the daily experience of being on strike was like.
Well, we walked the line every day. We were in like little teams, I guess, and so the first day everybody was on the line, and then kind of as we went throughout the week, the experiences were a little bit different. There was people making signs or making phone calls or walking, picketing, things like that, but pretty much you were out on the line the whole time.
Mr. Ellison informed us of what the teachers wanted coming out of the strike.
We ultimately wanted a fair and equitable deal that rewarded teachers for a job well done, and that also took into account fiscal responsibility. Like, we didn't want to drain the school's reservoir of money. We were just looking for a fair compensation package.
We interviewed Dawn Brummer, a member of the Board of Education during the strike, to give us the board's take as to why the teachers went on strike.
Yes, when there was an impasse, the teachers did inform the school board of their intent to strike. They gave us notification of a certain date, I believe it was October 1st, and we tried to work to get something done prior to that date. I think most of the major points that both parties disagreed upon were salary, schedule, financials. I think there was a breakdown in compromise, and so it was an impasse that they couldn't overlook.
Probably the major one was around compensation. When it comes to, when I say compensation, it's a broad compensation, meaning total package in relation to benefits, in relation to salary, in relation to step increases, the whole bucket around compensation.
At the end of every interview, we asked if they found the strike beneficial.
That's a hard question. I mean, yeah, our staff was, unified, I guess, around a specific goal. Did we necessarily get exactly what we were asking for? No, but do we meet a middle ground? Yeah. I know that it kind of depends on the person you ask. I know, like, it took a toll on the kids and things like that, but I think ultimately it was to, better and try to attract better teachers to McHenry. So I guess I would say, yeah, it's beneficial for now, for sure.
think it was beneficial. It's tough for me to say a strike is beneficial because I just went through all the parties that would be impacted. So do I think it's beneficial? That's a tough question, but no, I guess I wouldn't. I don't think it's beneficial just because of all the people that are negatively impacted as a result of it.
It was beneficial in the way that the association kind of put their foot down and said, like, you know, we're going to stand up for what we believe is right. It was not beneficial for students, and it wasn't beneficial for teachers. You know, ultimately, I think it hurt the community as a whole, but we did have to stand up for what we believe in.
All school-related activities came to a halt during the strike, including sport events and other clubs in season. This jeopardized the team's records and practice schedules. While on strike, the teachers, who were also coaches, were not allowed to communicate with the students. This prevented the teams from having practices and games. Since other schools were still in session, this put McHenry teams at a disadvantage when school was back in session, and they were expected to play other schools within the conference. Ms. Disselhorst is a McHenry volleyball coach, and we asked her what the guidelines were for communicating with her team during the strike.
We were allowed to communicate with our team up until the day of the strike. And then from that point forward, we were not supposed to have communication with our team, especially direct contact, like as far as practice or anything like that goes.
The lack of communication allowed during the strike led to certain dates not being announced and athletes suffering from the consequences. Ms. Bremer told us what her concerns were from the effects of the strike.
Well, the concerns that I had on the effects of the students, community, and the teachers were that the students were not in school, so the students lost out on some education. They had to extend that towards the end of the year, which had affected what they had plans for. The impact on the education that they lost, and the athletics. I think the athletics took a huge fall. I had some concerns about children who were working hard for their scholarships and to have scouts look at them, and that was postponed, and homecoming, and just the overall morale that has done to the students. And you know, it's hard to drive down the streets and see your kids upset and angry, and I think the teachers and the students had some concerns, you know, together themselves.
We asked a variety of students how the teacher strike negatively impacted their high school experience.
The teacher strike of 2015 negatively impacted me because I missed out on volleyball.
We had school on pre-scheduled vacation days.
We had to miss our marching band competition.
I missed out on my football season.
No, the strike really impacted my normal routine pretty negatively.
I missed out on dance.
I had a lot of questions for my teachers, and since I couldn't go to school, I couldn't ask my teachers those questions.
We missed out on learning.
The strike caused me to miss a week of tennis and not be able to practice before sectionals.
Our homecoming was pushed back. Volleyball games were rescheduled.
We had to forfeit 2 soccer games.
I missed out on 2 cross-country races. I missed out on cheer.
Marching band practice was either canceled or postponed.
As a result of the teacher strike of 2015, students missed out on a variety of high school experiences. The effects it had on learning were it forced teachers to skip some lessons or cram them all together, causing the students to not learn the material fully. This put students planning on taking their AP tests at a disadvantage since they didn't have the same amount of time to prepare. Not only was the student learning affected, but their homecoming was also pushed back. Students had to miss out on a multitude of fun events that came along with the dance, such as the homecoming pep rally, parade, and football game. With the strike, the unity of the community was jeopardized and hurt the student-teacher relationships. As a whole, the teacher strike of 2015 was not beneficial to the community and had a negative impact on the students.